Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a long-term review of the Victoria cookware that I own. They are the first cast iron products that I featured on my channel. Actually, that was the reason why I posted, or better yet, created a channel, was to start posting about cast iron cookware. And the very first thing that I had purchased, well, not the very first thing, like I had cast iron products prior to owning Victoria cast iron products. But like I said, I there wasn't like reviews or anything like that about Victoria cast iron. So I wanted to show you guys, details about it, cook with it, and kind of like do a unboxing, for the Victoria cast iron skillets and the griddles. So that's why I posted those videos, and that's pretty much where everything started. And then from there, it took off for me. I started purchasing more cast iron products. I started purchasing all these things, vintage stuff as well. And honestly, it's getting a little out of hand, but yeah, thanks to Victoria cast iron, it got me into more things. And like I said, I haven't really, featured them in my videos. I think I did that video and maybe a couple of other ones, but it rarely gets featured. I rarely talk about them on the channel. And I figured I should do a long-term review. This is technically like a 4 to 5 month review, long-term review. And the thing is that they have done an amazing job on building up seasoning. When I first purchased the skillet and the griddle, I was a little concerned about their seasoning, and the reason being is that it was really rough. It almost, to me, I was like, are these even seasoned? Because it said, seasoned with flaxseed oil, and and I did a little bit of review, a little bit of research on the company, and I stumbled across their channel. They have a channel as well, talking about their foundry, giving a little bit of a history about Victoria cast iron cookware, and just pretty much detailing about their products. But there wasn't really a review, on YouTube. So that's when I, decided to post a video reviewing the Victoria cast iron cookware that I had. But anyway, so if you guys know, or if you guys don't know, or if you guys know, I'm going to talk about Victoria cast iron and their background and a little bit of their history. I don't know much about it, but I did read and research a little bit about them. So they started in mid 1930s, and they're from Colombia, South America. So they started making I want to say auto parts in the beginning, and they switched over to cookware shortly after. A couple years, not very long, went by, and then they ended up switching over to cookware. And they've been doing, like I said, cookware since 1930s, and they remind me a lot of Lodge cookware. And the reason being is that they've been around since 1930, so they're getting close to their 100 years producing cookware. And like I said, if you guys want to know a little bit more about them, they do have a Instagram profile. They have a YouTube showcasing their foundry, showcasing their work. And that's how I found them. Technically, I found them on YouTube because I was researching cast iron and stumbled across them, and then researched a little more online, and stumbled on them on Amazon. And I tried purchasing, I think the skillet from Amazon. I can't recall why I didn't purchase it. I want to say because it was a little bit more expensive than Macy's, because at the time Macy's was having a sale on cast iron cookware, and Victoria cast iron cookware was massively discounted. So I was like, oh well, it's a lot cheaper than Amazon. So I decided to purchase, the griddle, the Dutch oven, and the skillet from Amazon. I'm sorry, from Macy's, their online store, and I got them at a great price. So the 12-inch skillet I ended up purchasing for, I want to say, about $15 to $16. The griddle, I think I ended up getting it at a very discounted price because it was insanely expensive. I think they were saying it was like $60 or $70. But I got it for, I want to say, $25. And their Dutch oven, I got it for $35. Like I said, heavily discounted. So for me, that was a good deal. And when I first, like I said, when I first got them, their seasoning was very rough. It was, they said it was seasoned with flaxseed oil from the company. But to me, it was like, it was a very rough, very thin seasoning. So I had to season them myself in the beginning, and that's what I did. So I seasoned them about 2 or 3 times prior to me cooking in them. And I kind of had a hard time, in the beginning, just because of how rough they were. Every time I used a shop towel, the blue shop towels to, rub some oil on them, they were just, pretty much, they were like sandpaper, just destroying the paper towel, and leaving all that lint. So I was like concerned about, the lint on the seasoning, the lint on the skillet, and I just had a hard time with it. But once I got them seasoned, they are amazing. Right now, like I said, they've built up seasoning so well that I've cooked so many things on these. And the reason why they're not featured frequently is because they are at my mother's house, at my mom's house, my parents' house. And I took them there because I wanted to have some cast iron at my mom's in case I wanted to cook there, or do anything that I wanted to, like cook or sear a steak or things like that. So I left them there, and when I go over to my mom's house, because technically my mom's house, my dad's house, is the main hub for family gatherings, and so when we do something together, I usually bring out my Victoria cast iron, and we use it to, like, on the griddle. I've used it to do smash burgers. I've used it to do breakfast, like eggs, hash, and pancakes and things like that. I've used it, for burgers, like I mentioned, hot dogs, I used it for many things. So the griddle has been used equally as the skillet. The 12-inch skillet has been used as well. And in the skillet, I've done bacon, I've done the onions, I've done bell peppers, I've done searing steaks, deep, not deep frying, but shallow frying chicken, chicken nuggets, like I mentioned. That's pretty much the most, that you see on my channel is frying chicken. But fried chicken, I don't think I've done, I think I have done fish. I think I've done fish and chips. So I fried some chips, fried some fish, and I fried potatoes, like I said. So many things, I've thrown, many things at it, and they performed very well, and I'm very happy with them. And I highly recommend them. Once you get a good seasoning built up, these things are amazing. Weight-wise, they're, similar in weight to Lodge, in thickness as well. Like the whole build of the skillets and the griddle are very similar to Lodge. Thickness and rough and weight, like how rough the surface is. That's what I meant to say by that. How rough the surface is similar to Lodge. Weight and just the style, everything about them is very reminiscent of Lodge cookware. But like I mentioned, if you guys want to look up, Victoria Cast Iron Cookware, they are on Instagram. And I'm not getting paid for any of this. I'm just, like I said, doing the review. But you can find them on Instagram. You can find them on Amazon. They have a YouTube channel. and they have several videos, like I said, showcasing, their foundry, how they do everything there. And that's, I did a little bit of research, and I know they started back in 1930s. Like I said, they remind me a lot of Lodge, because they went through a lot, and they've remained, making cast iron cookware. And they also make, besides the cookware, I think they also made auto parts at one point. But obviously, I don't think they do that anymore. I think they're just doing cast iron cookware. But they also do tortilla presses. I have a tortilla press from them. I have the 12-inch skillet. I have the griddle. And I also have their Dutch oven. And I like their Dutch oven. I've featured it a couple times on my channel. It's a very, very elegant, small Dutch oven. I think it's a 5-quart. It's a good size. It's a good weight. And all their products have seasoned really well, except seasoning really well. I mean, I did have a hard time, like I mentioned, seasoning them, because my paper towel was just pretty much coming, apart, just because of how rough they were. But once you get, I got over that. Once I got, seasoning on them, they've performed really well. They've done a great job. They haven't cracked, they haven't warped, they haven't, I haven't had any issues. They're my least maintained skillets, and they're the most well seasoned skillets that I have. So that just goes to show, that just cooking in cast iron is going to give you that good seasoning. In the beginning, I was pretty much just seasoning instead of cooking. Like, my wife would tell me, instead of you baking cast iron, why don't you cook or bake food? And she's right. You're going to get more out of just cooking. You're going to get more seasoning. You're going to build up more seasoning and better seasoning just by cooking. Cook, foods with high fat content in it. And, you can cook lean meats as well, but I'm saying, just use it. And it's going to, develop good seasoning. And like I said, I use and abuse these skillets, because I leave them outside. I cover, I grab a plastic bag and cover the skillet. Same thing with the griddle, and I leave them outside, inside my grill that I have. I have a Weber grill that has sort of like a cabinet. But anyway, very happy with this. Highly recommend them. I hope you guys enjoy them. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you guys pick one up, I hope you guys enjoy it. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your time.